Hi, it's Leah here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County. So if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people with living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Oh, hi, Doc. I forgot that we were doing a show today.
Hello.
Hey, Freddy. You want your last name? Because people say we only hear the word Freddy.
Freddie Santori, Freddie S, whatever you want.
Okay, Freddie Santori of M2.TV is here, and we have a special guest, which is Gio.
Who's doing
Everything for us.
He's doing Periscope today.
He's doing Periscope.
You're on Periscope today, Doc.
Periscope. Good.
So we have to do it in the submarine? 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go, folks. Ready?
Did you say
Okay.
good morning to your board operator?
Wait. Good morning, board operator. Now, the other thing I want to say is that I want to thank everybody in New York City and Atlanta for listening to and watching us on TV. Doc, you've become another...
New York.
Did I say in New York? You're becoming an idol.
Idol.
An idol.
Don't do American Idol because they're defunct. They're left.
And soon, if everything works out, you'll be in the Boston area.
Oh, my gosh. We can fly all the... Here's one thing that I want to say, Doc. Every time I come into your office, someone says to me, can you give the numbers out and give them out slowly? In fact, Colleen has told me that 50,000 times. So here's the numbers. If you want to talk to Dr. Pannozzo today live, you could call him at 800-889-0267. How was that? Did I do good?
That's for the station.
That's for the station, the hotline.
Hotline. Now,
if you want to, after 12, you call up Dr. Pannozzo. He will answer the phone promptly at 561-381-5800. That's a direct line. He's got a little thing that was implanted in his brain so he could hear everybody.
And that's only after 12 because we're taping right now live.
Yes,
but
taping
if you're
now.
in New York or Atlanta, you can call that number now.
Now, I want to see how smart both you guys are. What are the 3 things in life that's guaranteed? Freddie, go ahead. You go first.
Death.
Death, right?
Taxes.
Taxes. Come on.
And Dr. Pannozzo.
There we go.
Boy, am I smart.
Is that amazing, Doc? So now everyone's going to say, well, I know.
These guys are.
We know you got to pay taxes, right? And we know you got to die. How could you possibly, for all our great listeners out there, especially in New York City, how do you guarantee what you do? Really? Did I stump you?
I don't know. Well, we guarantee it because we recheck it.
Okay.
The treatments at the time you get it.
Okay.
So we're not waiting 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We do it the same day you're in there for an exam. And if you can't reproduce that pain, that we know that's a cure.
When you say the word reproduce your pain, explain to our new listeners what you mean by reproducing a pain.
In other words, say for low back pain, you bend to the left and you get a leg pain. Okay, I treat that, and after the treatment, in a couple minutes, I say, okay, bend to the left. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, I don't have that pain. That's how we do it.
Freddie, isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
And it's done right then and there, not weeks later. It's done right then and there.
So what the heck is everyone waiting for? I brought in a young lady to see you who works out of the gym with me. And it was very funny because she has this terrific elbow pain. We already knew that elbow pain, boom, we knocked that out. I'm saying we knocked it out like I'm knocked it out.
Yep.
Okay. Didn't have to go for therapy. Didn't have to get it operated on. Was knocked out. So what I say to everybody out there, I'm a pretty honest guy. I'm not going to do anything unless I believe in it. And I'm sitting here with 2 people, including myself, as 3 that have used Dr. Pannozzo. And Freddie Santori actually sent his son to see Dr. Pannozzo. and his son is right here, and he's looking at me and saying, "Hey, thanks, Dr. Pannozzo, you fixed me." I mean, what else do you need?
Well, I often get asked, why isn't your waiting room loaded with people down the line because you do such great work? Well, one of the reasons is that we only see people once or twice, that's all.
I still see new people in every
So
day.
you're not coming in there repeatedly every week. I would get bored to death if you did that. I mean, we don't want that. We want to treat you right now, and that's it for you.
I want to thank all you new patients that are coming in to see Dr. Pannozzo, and you're limping in, and you're, guys,
Leaping out.
Leaping out is right.
Okay. Now, here's something funny. 2 nights ago, I ate liver and onions. I love liver and onions, and my wife made a famous chocolate cake. How come I didn't get a migraine from that? Everyone's saying, "Ooh, you get migraines from what you eat." I mean, I never heard of that.
No, you don't.
I mean, that's just false
Yeah,
information.
all of that information that you see in the popular magazines written by who knows who, telling you MSG, don't eat this, don't eat that. I mean, the whole thing is stupid. It is irrelevant. Whatever you do is irrelevant to headache. Headache is from the neck only,
okay.
and it's a trauma to the neck.
Well, a lot of people are finding out in the NFL, Freddie and I were talking about this, that concussion doesn't come from getting hit in the head. They're finding out now that what you've been talking about all these years about, it's the neck that causes
Yeah, they're
headache.
finally looking elsewhere because the concussion term itself doesn't really have any meaning. It really doesn't. If you don't have brain damage and you can't get it that way, why we talked about this last week, it's encased in fluid, and so you can't really hurt the brain.
So my wife said I'm brain damaged, she was lying, right?
Well, in your case, it's true.
You get 2 of those for that, Doc. All right. You can know we're getting good friends, right? Okay. Now, I thought of this a couple of days ago, and as I was thinking about it, I read this ad in a magazine, and here's what it said. Headaches, migraines, stop pain by using pain management. Now, here's their pain management ideas. This is not me. This is the article. Botox for migraines, integrative therapy for migraines, and intranasal lidocaine. Why don't they say cure?
Because they don't, and none of that will do anything.
So they're just
It's
managing
just a waste
pain.
of time and money. People don't do those things. A big ad like that says they can cure that, they can't. First of all, they don't know where a headache comes from.
That's the key.
So Botox is actually the wrong treatment because a headache is caused by ligament structure, not by muscles. Muscles work on Botox, or Botox works on muscles.
Right.
So a real physician will know how to do that. And who's behind that? Don't say the name, just the degree.
There's absolutely no degree. I don't see the word doctor anywhere in this ad.
Oh boy.
It says pain management of headaches ranging from mild to chronic migraines. I'm looking right here, Doc, at the whole ad, and
Yeah,
Freddie, look at it. Do you see any doctors on here? I just want to make sure I'm not going blind.
Where'd you get that article from? Magazine?
It was a magazine article that, I'm not going to mention the magazine either, but it was a real article, letting people know that it does pain management. So everyone who drives by and sees pain management, understand the word management means this. I'm giving everyone an English. I wasn't good in high school or college. There's management and there's cure.
Yes.
Okay? Pain management means they're going to manage your pain. What you do gets rid.
They're going to try to reduce it however they can, but you can't reduce it if you don't know where it's from and you don't know why it's from there. So we do all that. We tell you all that. That's why it's a good reality show. I mean, you're going to hear stuff that you've never heard anywhere else.
Doc, what is intranasal lidocaine?
Spray, no spray.
No spray.
Yeah. What's that have to do with migraine?
That's what.
It's right here. It's part of the treatment.
Yeah.
Botox for migraines. You know, Botox commercial, guys, came back this week. I can't believe it.
See, evidently they're trying to treat frontal headache
As a migraine.
as a migraine, and there are 3 areas. Should I just talk about that now?
Yes, why we're on the
A real migraine is only in the back of the head, right here, and it's on camera, so you can see it right here. That's migraine. Then you can have pain on the side of your head, right here, which comes from a TMJ primarily, and then you could have a frontal headache right here from your sinuses, and that's headache primarily. So all that description that you get from migraine and cluster headaches, and there used to be a whole bunch of them.
Oh, I remember cluster
Then
headaches.
they stopped doing that, and they started talking about cluster headaches. And I said, "What's a cluster headache?" You know, well, you got 3 of them in one day or something. I don't know, something really, really weird. On doctorish, you can't treat people based on that.
Well, talking about cluster headaches, my father-in-law who passed away many years ago, left me a lot of money, Frey. I don't even know why I'm doing this show. But anyhow, he used to get him the doctor, and the doctor, you know, way before I knew you or even knew what you did, I told him to stick his head in ice water. Every time we got to...
Why would you do that?
Well, I bought him a snorkel so he could breathe underwater. But no, I don't. I mean, that's what they were saying. That stick your head in. But you know what? I want people to understand one thing. You have to read, when you read something, always look for the person who has written an article, what their qualifications are. Are they a doctor? Or did they go to medical school? Did they major in musculoskeletal, or are they just, you know?
That is true. And when you go to somebody for treatments, you have to say, where is this pain coming from?
No one does that.
If they can't tell you, then put your clothes on and walk out, because it's a loser.
Well, Doc,
And when you come to my office, I'm going to tell you exactly where it's from and why it's from there. The whole scenario. What happened to you, why this pain is coming from there, where it's coming from, why it's coming from there, and what we're going to do about it, and then we do it. And all you have to do is say yes.
I think that's the key that a lot of people don't understand.
Hey.
It's not management. You know, you're talking about taking your clothes off. I went one day to a doctor, and the first thing the doctor said is, you know, take your clothes off and sit in a room. I was going in for an eye examination. Hey, Freddy, that was not bad, right?
You know, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary.
Yes, it is.
What you described.
Yeah, it's true.
Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who are making monies and giving things that don't make any sense, using words.
Yeah.
Well, the patients, the public has to get smart. And
Yes.
the other way you get smart is to study. You got to read this stuff. You can't say, "Oh, I'm just going to go to so-and-so because he's the best." That's baloney. You have to know what you're going to do there. Even the best makes mistakes.
Of course. Not you.
Except me.
Yeah. I thought I'd get that in Freddy before he got it in, because I know him so well. I don't have to, you know, it's very, Doc, you know, you're getting good at this. When we do our reality show, I want to make sure you're up like this and happy. What I always tell people, you know, when you're choosing a physician, always look at where he went to school. Like, you didn't go to Guadalajara School of Medicine, right?
No.
Okay. So you went to the Big O.
The Ohio State
One
University.
of the greatest one of the greatest colleges actually in the country. And the beauty of this is you decide to make your career on musculoskeletal. How many people do this? The only ones I know is you and your son. I don't know anyone else that does this.
Well, there's a lot of offshoots. What we do is pure musculoskeletal medicine, and we don't have any treatments other than what we do. And my son has a technician to carry some treatments out, but that's a different scenario. We don't have that. I do all the treatments myself.
Okay.
And so anything that you bring with you is obsolete. So, I mean, if you had an MRI last year, you know, it's useless. Don't even bring it.
Well, wait a second. An MRI is useless no matter what. I think,
Well, it
except
tells-
if it's looking for something
It tells
particular.
it tells you what's there, but it doesn't tell you where the pain is.
Right.
You have to be able to take a history and examine to determine where the pain is. So if you have 5 bones and they'll read this L1 2, T12 L1, L2 3, L3 4, 4 5, 5 1, but that doesn't say. You won't see in the typed copy where the pain that you're having is from. This is what you got to know. You can't treat something that if you don't know where it's from. Now, so we do that. We tell you where it's from and what we can do about it, and then we do it if you allow it, and then you walk out of there pain-free.
So don't bring your MRI.
And then before you leave, we ask you to reproduce your pain, and you can't. And then
I think that's the most. I'll sit in his office, and I would say, out of all the people that I've seen, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching a guy swing his club that couldn't swing a club before. I'm watching a lady who just got out of a walk and saying, "Oh, this feels so good, Doc. Oh, why did you do it? What about tomorrow?" And he says, "Oh, tomorrow will even be better." And it's just amazing. I mean,
There was a guy yesterday.
okay,
No, not yesterday. What's today? Sunday, Friday.
right.
He walks in and using a walker. And when he walks out, he tells people in the waiting room, he said, "I walked in straight. Now I have to use a walker." What a joker.
Well, there was a husband and wife who were in the waiting room, I think, last Tuesday, and he was in a walker also. And I was just talking to the wife while you were examining him, and the words that came out of her mouth was, "Where was this man before he went in for 3 surgeries?"
Yeah.
And that's got to make anyone feel good. When I walked out with him, I just walked out. We were talking. I couldn't talk to you. You were too busy. He said, "This guy is amazing," and that's got to mean something.
Yeah, well, this is common work. We do this every day, and it's tried.
I met a guy in your office on Friday, and he's been working with you for 8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Who's that?
I don't know his name. He was a guy he was from New York, and I said to him, 8 years, what's wrong with you? He says, "Oh no, he's been taking care of things that I've had go wrong.
Different things.
I was under the impression it was one thing." So he goes,
That kind of breaks that whole argument, doesn't it?
"Oh, it does. It sort of scared me for a second." So I go to him. So what do you think about Dr. Pannozzo? He says, "There's nobody in the world like him." I said, "Do you go to your doctors for anything?" He says, "I don't go to my doctors for anything anymore. It doesn't make any sense. He takes care of the problem. He does it 1, 2, 3. I understand completely what he does." Now across the hall, across the way, you had 2 new clients, and they kept saying, "Wow, are you serious?" And that's the bottom line. Understand what you do is half the battle.
Right, and we try to explain it as much as we can in common language. We don't use language that you can't follow.
Okay, I want everyone to stop for 1 second. To satisfy the gentleman who came in after hearing the show, I'm going to do what he asked me to do. The hotline number is 800-889-0267, and that's a direct line. You can call from anywhere.
That's for the show.
Right. Now, if you have...
For you.
What's that? Give that number again, Les.
No, I forgot it. Oh, it's 800-889-0267. And if you have any kind of a cell phone, which I think everyone in the world does, you can still call Dr. Pannozzo direct at 561-381-5800. And please do not call until after the show is over, because we're doing a lot of tapings, because we're going to...
You have questions?
I'm going to get to the questions right now.
Only right now. This show airs anywhere else, but right now you can call immediately.
Okay. The doc not only is a musculoskeletal professional, he tells me how to run the show. Okay. First, the world tour starts on February 16th, where Dr. Pannozzo is going to hold his first
World tour.
The world tour.
You're tiring me out.
Hey, Doc, look, he's trained me to be a doctor, so I give him those shots. A little Viagra, you'll be fine in a minute. Okay. The Pannozzo Medical Seminar, February 16th at South County Civic Center. That's at 16700 Jog Road in Delray Beach. Now, you could go to the doc. Is it going to go on the website soon, Freddy, so I can tell which one? You tell me which website.
We're going to go on Pannozzo.tv for more information. You can go there. Or they can call the number you're going to give them.
The number they can call is 954-303-9563. Now, if you want to come...
Give that number again.
Okay.
You ate up the last number.
Okay. 954-303-9563. And this is going to be one of the most informative seminars you'll ever see.
Spell my name so they can go
Yes.
on.
The correct way to spell his name is Pannozzo. Now, you can call him at his office, but it would be better if you call this number, 954-303-9563. And seating is going to be limited, so the faster you call, the faster I can put your name down.
That's right.
Okay? Now, it'll be on the website, so you could actually work, and there'll be flyers. So now we're going to start. Don't go to sleep yet, Doc. I'm busy. The first thing we're going to do is take some calls. Not calls, I'm sorry. We're going to take some questions. I have one from Sal, Doc, at New York City, writes, "I saw your show on TV.
New York City.
Big NYC, baby. That's why I don't like Cruz, because he knocked New York, and I'm a New Yorker." Okay. I forgot what the question was.
He did not say anything bad about that.
Well, he inferred.
They assumed it so they
He
could
assumed.
argument, but
Okay.
he didn't say anything bad
Okay.
about it.
I'm not going to
It's
talk
well
politics.
known what he said. Everybody
No
knows.
politics now.
Okay.
Everybody knows that.
And Sal writes, I saw your show on TV and wanted to know more about vertigo. So let's start. He said, doctors have told me there is no cure for vertigo. Yet I've seen you talk about how you helped remove vertigo from people. Why is that the medical profession does not acknowledge that perhaps you have a cure for this disease? What is the treatment that you do that makes it so effective against vertigo? Why hasn't this treatment been talked about in the past?
Well, because we did the research on it last year, and we determined where it's from, and then we did the trials, just like a research project. It's just not published. Now, in order to publish something, you have to have standing, like in a university or somebody. You have to have somebody behind you pushing you a little bit. You know, you take a single physician like me in little Delray Beach in a 2,000 square foot office, you know, they're going to say, what does this guy know? We know a lot because we are a good researcher and we have plenty of patients to follow up with, to try this, and try that. And the thing that works is what we do. And if it doesn't work, I would tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
But if it works, I'm going to tell you that too. You have to take my word for it. We never say anything that's not absolutely 100% true.
Well, I was there with the girl I brought in. She showed the finger.
Do you know that we don't have anybody complaining that their migraine came back?
Well, I brought in four
I mean,
people, not yet.
This is a lot of people now.
Yeah. Well, I brought in about 3 or 4 people. I've on the website. We must have 5 or 6 that have gone in. And Doc, you got to make them come back for more shots. I mean, this is hard for me to do this to get you going. But I mean, you cured it in one day. And
Yeah.
here's the thing:
One day. Right.
2 ladies, both of different ages. I want the people in New York City to understand this, to go to Pannozzo.tv anytime and look at it. What you did was, a woman must have been in her, I would say 65, which isn't really old.
Older than that.
Oh, well, okay, because, you know, she looked pretty damn good, though. And we had a younger woman that was in her 40s who really looked good. Both of them suffer from the same thing, and here's the funny part about it. They all went to the same doctors in Miami for Botox. One of the girls had to be rushed to the hospital because they gave the needle in the wrong place, and they still had migraine headaches. You cured both these people in one day. And I know you're going to say out there, impossible. Well, guess what? Come on in. We got a beautiful TV set. You don't even have to sit down and watch what other people say. We don't. What bothers me is we do the show for one reason. As you know, we have no sponsors. We don't want sponsors. This is an informational show to help you.
We had a motorcycle rider,
Oh, God, it's
a
amazing.
racer, and you know what happens to them?
Oh, with the, yeah.
Their hands are down and their heads up like this for wind.
Wow.
And this fellow had a motorcycle shop, plus he's a racer, and he had to travel an hour to see me. So he calls me up. He says the migraine is about half or less, but I still have it on the other side. And I said, well, you come on up. So in an hour he was there. We did the other side, but there's no failures in this treatment. We have not had a failure yet. Wherever we've managed it, it's gone.
That's
Well,
amazing.
you know, the doc
Does
had,
not come back. Remember, this has not come back.
you know, the doc had a gentleman there on Friday who had vertigo, and I was excited because it was the first patient
Great.
that I ever seen walk in and he had vertigo. And he started to talk to me and says, the vertigo is so bad, I can't talk. I can't have a conversation. So here I am, and I'm talking to him. And we're talking and talking. And I said, sir, I think his name is Joe. I said, Joe, you're having a conversation with me. He says, holy miracle, that's right. I mean, he didn't even realize it. He says, I got to get out of here.
Well, that was an elderly guy.
Yeah, it
and
was.
So the following week we did the other side. There's 2 sides of this, and I haven't seen him since.
No, you're not going to see him anymore. He's
gone.
Hold me back where I can talk.
Well, what about that engineer? That for how many years did he have it? He's gone to everybody. He told us
30 years? I
30
think?
years. Thank
My
you.
goodness gracious.
And he was sitting in the office after he had gotten his shots, and he's going like this. Huh? Yeah, I'm not getting that pain anymore. And he's going like this with his neck. He's moving to the right. He's moving to the left. He's bending down. He's doing touching his toes. And he said, Holy, I can't use the other word because I was yelled at. Holy wow. This guy knows what he's doing. Is it going to come back? Has he been back yet?
He came back not for the same reason.
Oh, good,
He came
okay.
back for something else, and we took care of that too.
Isn't that amazing,
The
Freddie?
first thing they ask the doc is it permanent? Is this going to come
Yes.
back, right?
It does not come back.
That's the amazing thing, doc.
Yeah.
Because anybody could put in a painkiller in there and it's temporary.
Well, what does that tell you for the public? How you should think about this when I tell you it doesn't come back, you have to understand that it goes where the source is, and once you treat it, it doesn't come back.
Repeat that word.
But if you the source,
Thank you.
If you don't know where it is, of course, you're not going to treat it, and it's going to come back. You'll get temporary relief, and then it comes back. So we know where the source is for all these things that we treat, and for leg pain, we know where the source is for that. We get a lot of people that come in there, and they've had shots in their back, epidurals, and who knows what else. But the techniques you need to know to treat this is not available out there. We developed that stuff in our own office. It's 100% cure rate. So again, if you want to know how it works, you get treated. Before you leave, I'll ask you to get that pain back if you can, and you're not going to be able to do it. That's how you know you got a cure.
So in other words, there's a group of doctors that I think their practice starts with a C. I don't remember what it is, that do a lot of manipulation. So if
Now, there's more than that. There's MDs, or there's orthopedic surgeons who don't do this kind of work.
Right.
They'll give you a shot. They don't know what they're doing there. Or anesthesiologists, they give you epidurals. But that's not a treatment for backache. You have to know where the source is.
And you know what, folks?
And we know.
If I can make a list of how many people that I know who have gone for surgeries on their back,
Ah.
their necks. And you know what? One of the biggest epidemics in this country is not cocaine. It's prescribed medications.
Yes.
And people, I saw a whole show about that. And as I was coming in, they were talking about it on the
See,
radio.
if you know where the pain source is, you know that narcotics are not necessary.
Well, narcotics
know
work
that.
on the brain.
It works on the brain only, but there's no pain bad enough to make you a junkie,
That's
to make
right.
you a narcotic addict.
You
There
get
is no
hooked on this
pain
stuff.
bad enough. The doctors are just, they're not doing the right job for you. If they're writing prescriptions, get out of there quick. I don't, I tell you from the heart what it is.
And you know,
I'm at the end of my career, so I don't care what
no,
people
you
say
can't
about
go.
me.
We're
I'm
doing
telling you the truth.
We're doing the world tour. What you got to do is I can't have you teach me. I'm as old as you. I mean, come on, let's face it.
Well,
That's
you gotta
right.
have, you
We've
gotta
had
have-
the first.
We don't want to teach him anyway, because
We don't.
what person's going to go to see him?
I was just told by Gio that his girlfriend thinks I'm cute. Is she listening to the show?
But that's what he's going to hang his whole day on, that one comment.
If young women think you're cute, you got a shot, right? Colleen, you think I'm cute?
No, there
Colin
you
said
go.
no, okay.
Colleen thumbs
All right.
down.
Cuteness. I
Okay.
have another question.
Another question. Jessica from New York writes, I was visiting my sister in Manhattan and saw your show. Fantastic.
Talking
Jessica.
to the
Thank
mic,
you.
Les.
Okay, thank you, Jessica, for watching the show. Question is, are you going to air shows in any other parts of the East Coast? I saw the piece on children should be looked at before they play sports to get a clean bill of health from you. Can you further explain how seeing a child will reduce injury from them when playing sports? The other question is, do you have other facilities that can be visited closer to New York?
Well, you cannot prevent an injury.
Right.
The only thing you can do is pick up the painful area before they play and try to treat that.
Right.
But if you can prevent an injury, there'd be no injuries in an NFL. But there's plenty of them over there.
Yeah, one of them got hurt yesterday.
Yeah. So in order to prevent an injury, if you can, which you can't, but you can make a stab at it, or you can take people out of the play that have an injury already. And this is the same as doing exams for industry.
Right.
People are going to get hired. They get hired and then complain they have a injury at work. Well, if you can pick that up before you hire them, then that stops that right there. They do not make a claim because
No compensation
we picked
clauses.
them out.
Yeah, that's
We
amazing.
found it.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I used to have 500 employees at one time, and I examined every one of them. And a few of them tried to slip by with a bad injury. Then we were going to blame it on us. And I said, You already had this injury, and I made a notation of it. But I need the job, doc. I said, okay, I'll give you the job, but I don't want to hear about this again. And I never did.
Okay, we got Wanda from New York who writes, I've been working in the Postal Service for many years, and as you know, we stand all day long to work in the system. I saw your show that pain in my feet can be from different parts of my body. At night, my feet feel really hurt in the arch, and I've noticed pain in my left hip sometimes. Is this just fatigue, or do I have more going on? Others that I work with have pains in their feet, but I don't think as bad as mine.
Well, that sounds like a referred pain. Now, the key part of that history is at night. There's no reason why your feet should hurt you when you're laying down. So you have to know that. And
what does that mean, Doc, when your feet do hurt you when you're laying down?
when you're laying down, it's a referred pain from the lower
Something
back,
else.
probably. Yeah. So that's where we'd look first.
See that information right there, Les?
That's worth plenty.
I mean, people just, if you can put their mind around that thought, then they understand somewhat of what he does.
Yeah.
Well, you should also understand when you read something, understand the difference between pain management and cure. Big difference.
Right.
The word management means you're managing the pain. You're not getting rid of the pain. You're just managing the
There
pain.
you go.
I don't want you to manage a migraine headache. I want you to get rid of the migraine headache.
Right.
Okay, and this, Doc, I'm telling you, you could do the show without me. Keep pointing your finger to read a question. Okay. Gio, see what I have to go through every Sunday? Okay, think this is easy. Okay, Doc, here we go. Alan from New York City writes, let the doc do his own show. No, hold it. Alan from New York City writes, being a medical doctor in your field, for over 50 years, can you explain to your audience what kind of medical institution you would put in place to remove not only the cost of useless procedures, but replace the amount of surgery that are being done? Since you cover so many different illnesses, perhaps a compromise to the industry as a whole would increase awareness of your program. So he's saying he's been doing this in your
I
field.
don't know what the question is.
I don't either.
He's saying,
I really don't.
it sounds to me like he's a doctor,
Yeah.
and he wants to know what you would do
In my
to
field?
change.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's in your
Well,
field.
doctors, he probably thinks he's a doctor and you're a doctor. Not in what you do, but in your field.
we don't know. See,
Doctor's a
that's-
doctor.
yeah, go
But
ahead.
he wants to know what you would do to change the industry, to create more awareness of what you do.
Well, you have to train the doctors before they get out of school, medical
But
school.
there you go, and that's not being
which-
done, correct?
Which
Right.
they do not have any training. And orthopedic surgeons have control of this. Throw them out, get people in there that could actually lecture the medical students so that when they get out, they know how to examine a shoulder, they know how to examine a knee, they don't refer everybody to an orthopedic surgeon. They know how to handle things, make a diagnosis, and it's not that hard to do. It isn't. I could teach someone how to examine a knee in about 5 minutes.
Wow.
There's only so many things there. And but they don't do it in school. So everybody goes to an orthopedic surgeon. So what does that mean?
Surgery.
It means surgery eventually because they go to a therapist. The therapist makes you worse because they don't know anything about it. And you go back to the surgeon and you wonder why you get operated. Well, you get operated because you keep going back to the surgeon.
But Doc,
Hey,
surgeon means surgery. It
Means
doesn't
surgery.
say orthopedic guy who finds out where the pain is, does it?
Okay, so in answer to his question is, you have to train the medical students to be able to diagnose musculoskeletal problems, not to treat them, but at least to know what needs surgery, what doesn't, and never refer to a surgeon directly. Do not let the patient go to the surgeon directly.
My feeling has always been this, Doc.
And if that happens, you know you've lost control because it goes to the therapist after that. Therapists aren't doctors. They don't know, I mean, they're overrated as far as I'm concerned. We don't even have them around.
I'm going to give you what is known as a lessism. Okay, here's a lessism.
A lessism?
A lessism.
He has his own vocabulary now. Holy
I got my
mackerel.
own, it's called a lessism, and here it is. The two things that you don't want anyone but yourself to take care
I've
of.
heard this one. This is not lessism.
It's a lessism.
No, I've heard it.
It's a
Well, it's Dr.
Pannozzoism.
Pannozzoism, but I
what it is?
I'm the host. I can do whatever I want. A lessism that says the two things you don't want anyone to touch or have control of is your money and your health.
That's right.
So when a doctor tells you, well, I think you should go to my friend, the orthopedic surgeon, or another person, my therapist. I think what you should do, folks, is be proactive about your health and go see someone who doesn't want you to go in for surgery.
It doesn't even have to be a friend that they're referring
No,
to. It's just a rote thing.
Yeah.
That's what they learned in school, and that's what they do every day.
Freddie, you know what rote means? Okay.
Not only that, rote, R-O-T. Not
To rote thing.
not W-R-O-T.
I'm talking to a guy that went to NYU, and you should definitely know what rote means, okay?
I gotta spell it.
Now I'm really confused.
Okay, so let's move on, Doc. We answered that
But
question.
you know, wait a minute. Hold on, Doc. You know, you answer that question. It's not as simple
It's not simple.
because
no.
what you're doing is you're changing the mindset and how things are done in this country incorrectly.
That's right.
You're not being, what's the word that Gio hates me to say, like Donald Trump says, you're not being politically correct. You're being
I don't care
truthful.
about that.
You're being truthful.
I'm a scientist primarily,
And therein lies the difference. I
and,
think what this doctor's trying to stipulate here, he's a doctor and he's willing to listen. He's beginning to listen.
So that's a nice question.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
glad
Okay,
he's
yeah.
listening. He should call me and I'll tell him.
I think it's time.
We had a new medical school going in Ohio when I was working there, and I wrote up a scenario for each year. Year 1 for a medical student, year 2, 3, and 4, and as they graduated, they would be able to diagnose any musculoskeletal thing like I do. You know what? It got turned down.
He got turned down.
It got turned down because the people in charge had no clue of what the whole thing was about, and they never asked.
Do you know how much money insurance companies would save?
I was just
Well,
thinking,
that's the other thing.
Wow.
So who's on the committees determining what the benefits are?
insurance company.
Insurance,
Yeah.
Insurance companies. They hire people to be on that committee because the administrators aren't physicians. See, so they have to hire people with degrees to do that. Well, they're hiring the wrong people. They're hiring surgeons. They're hiring nurse practitioners. They're hiring anesthesiologists. I mean, they're not hiring
But this would
musculoskeletal
cost
people.
them less money. They go in one day and they're out.
That doesn't matter to these people
Oh,
because
my
they could
God.
overcharge you, and there's nothing you could do about it.
They would also have to cut out a ton of doctors. out of
Yeah,
their program,
there's your
and they don't-
reason.
And they don't want to do that. They
No.
want to add more doctors.
Well, right
and charge
now
more.
Yeah,
they want
I
to
can see
save the
that.
hospital beds too.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if a surgeon says I want to operate this knee, they say okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's $40,000 that goes to the hospital. I mean,
$40,000. That's just on the
and we
meals they
treat that
serve.
for under $1,000.
Yeah, let me ask you a
I mean,
question.
you know.
They're charging $40,000. Can't they give better meals? I had warm eggs when I was at the hospital and grits.
At least you got food. I know places that don't serve. They serve
man.
multi bread.
I thought this was the American plan. It was the hotel that would give me two
Well,
meals.
The trouble is that they have one kitchen that's 8 floors under the ground, and they have to put them on trays by the time it gets up to the 6th floor where you are. I mean,
You know, you're right, because I ordered a cold meal. It came in hot. Okay, next we've got Harvey from New York. He writes, from the shows I've watched and talking to the doctors at the fire department of New York, God bless those guys, man, what they did at 9/11. Most of the problems of pain and disease come from high amounts of inflammation the body endures. Do you think this is correct? That's question number one. So let's take care of question number one. Do you think that it comes from all the inflammation that they endure during a day of, with the fire hoses and all the getting up and down on the stairs?
well, it's not a good question because I don't know what he's talking about. Is
Okay.
he talking about a pain somewhere?
Well, he's talking about a lot of inflammation that they endure.
What's inflammation? Where is it? I mean, what are the symptoms?
Sounds
See,
to
you
me
have
like
know.
it's throughout the body.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what it sounds
throughout
like
the
to
body
me.
doesn't
Yeah.
tell you anything.
Okay.
I mean, you can have a flu and have symptoms all right throughout the body.
Okay.
You could have a bee sting and have symptoms throughout the body. You don't know what he's talking
It's got to be more specific.
Okay, so let me finish. Right. Is there a way to get a complete body workup so the inflammation does not go to the point of pain? Being a firefighter,
No.
we endure different types of pain every time we come back from a call. What do you think?
You once you have an injury, you're going to have inflammation, and you're going to have a pain.
Okay.
You can't prevent the injury.
Right.
You cannot
You
prevent
can
the
only
injury.
treat the injury.
You have to treat it. Yeah.
Okay, from
That
Atlanta.
Freddy, he does listen, doesn't he?
Who?
Fred.
Freddie, I'm telling you,
I
Freddie.
gotta listen, Doc. They send me tons of emails. I'm like, I try to
Did
answer
we
the
get anything
simple
from
ones.
Chatbox while we're sitting here?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
Not that I can see.
So let me talk. Oh, Atlanta. Okay, I got nervous by people from Atlanta. Jackie from Atlanta writes, I've heard your show several times and wanted to write in to ask if I've been treated by a doctor for many years to remove pain in my left knee, which he feels is the only solution I have to perform a surgery. Can I still visit you and have the pain removed? Do I have to stop taking the medication before I visit? Wow. So basically, she's thinking her doctor tells her to go in for surgery, and does she have to take the medication that the doctor prescribed?
Well, if I was her, I'd get a second opinion on the surgery. Sometimes the knee pain is because of the hip.
Okay.
So you have to be able to examine for that. Now, I don't know of any orthopedic surgeon that does that.
Okay.
They look at the knee, and they say, let's replace that. I look at the knee, and I say, why the heck does that thing hurt? I mean, what are the influences on it?
No.
The knee itself, if it's a primary, is not that hard to treat. There's only a band of connective tissue around it. That's where the pain is. It's not on the inside. You can't tear anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to tear anything. Everything's flat on the knee. So how do you get it up and do that so it tears? You can't. I mean, it's just physically impossible on the design of it. So that's why you have to think, design and function. We talked about that, the sphere and the cube last time. Well, those are different functions in geometry, and so those things are implemented in the body. So if you have a flat place, there's no way you're going to get in there and rip that thing up like that. It doesn't happen. Those are overread MRIs. Don't do it.
And now that you brought up tears, you had an article written by MD Doc that you were showing to me about how he explained how a tear is fixed, and you said, how do you do that? And that article that you had here before the show, you were reading to me.
Oh, that was on concussion, I think. Was that the
he
one?
had one concussion, and he had another one about a tear.
Oh, I don't know. I know we were talking
Tear,
about concussions.
no, plasma-rich,
That.
plasma-rich,
Cells.
platelet-rich plasma injection for partial patellar tendon tear.
Right. What is that?
It doesn't happen.
But this is my point. What,
It should
what
be
in the
called
world?
a sprain.
And they call it a tear.
They call it a tear, but it's really, how would you tear anything?
Well, I wouldn't want
especially
to
in
put
high school kid.
plasma-rich cells in my sprain.
And there's nothing there in the plasma-rich. Why plasma? Platelet. It's platelet.
Platelet-rich.
Platelet-rich. Here's the article. Platelet-rich plasma. All you need is a steroid injection in there. Take the inflammation out and promote healing, and that's all you need. You don't need this. And in fact,
Plasma-rich.
this should never be done.
Do you know how much you have to pay for a plasma-rich?
Platelet-rich plasma.
Platelet.
A lot of money.
Okay, the PPP. You know how much you have to pay
You
for
know
that
what
procedure?
platelets do ordinarily?
Stop bleeding.
They stop bleeding. So how is
Wow,
this
very
used
good,
for a
Freddy.
tear?
But that's my point. Do you know how much money they would charge for that procedure?
$2,000, $3,000.
Do you charge that, Doc?
No.
No. And
Not
there
anywhere
is-
near that.
But there is a difference right there.
But not only that, but when you look at their conclusion from this article, there's nothing else offered. They just say, yeah, it works, and that's it.
And that's it.
Well, that's not proof. That is not proof at all. And as a matter of fact, on a theoretical basis, based on the anatomy and the physiology and how these injuries work, you should never do this. And there are several orthopedic companies right now in our area that are advertising this.
That's right.
But sometimes they say, well, it may not be a cure. Well, that's your tip-off right there.
Well, they always say it's not going to be a cure. Always, Doc.
You go-
say
They
it's
always
just
let
another-
themselves off, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's only, even a surgery is only 50%.
That's right.
You could, well, hey, a normal surgery or any treatment has to be 85% effective.
That's right.
That's medical.
You know what I've learned over
What
the
have
years?
you learned last?
I don't know. I forgot. I think. Doc? How do you cure? Could you cure Alzheimer's with a shot somewhere?
No, don't even bring that up.
Huh?
Don't even bring that up.
You know the good thing about Alzheimer's?
You
meet
forget
so
you have
many.
it.
No, you meet so many new people.
That's true.
I got Gio to laugh, and if you can make Gio laugh, then
That's a terrible joke. And the emails, direct the emails to Les Mayer.
at Freddy Santori at amp2.tv. Okay, so now,
Any other questions?
yeah. Hey Doc, look, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You take yes, Doc. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off the track. Hold on. We got someone from Washington. Wow, we're good.
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, Cy from Washington writes, I've heard your show in Atlanta. Okay, so Atlanta gets credit for that one. When I visit my mother on the weekends, I was shocked to hear that migraines is something that you can cure. I was told no one can cure migraines. Can you explain how migraines start in the first place, and why your method is the only method that doesn't allow the migraine to come back? I think that's a great question, Si.
Well, he's assuming that we're preventing it from coming back. We're not. We're curing the area
Right.
that causes it. It's
Okay.
migraine is a referred pain from the
CO.
base of the skull to the first vertebra
Right.
in the neck. That's where it's from.
Okay.
And we've devised a research project on that and worked it out, went to the anatomy lab, dissected the area to see if it's safe to treat. And now we treat that just like that, and it goes away. Doesn't come back.
Can you injure
so
that
actually,
area
we're
again?
curing the place that's bothering you. Well, it's you can't get hurt again there.
No one's ever come back to tell me it didn't work, and that's what I want someone to call me if it didn't work. We'll take your call.
Me too. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
You know, now,
we want to see that on tape, so if that happens, give us a call. What's
Yeah.
the number to call in?
the number to call, you mean on the show, Fred?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that slow now. Hold on. I got my glasses on. Okay.
Okay, we'll do that.
800 889 0267. That's 800 889 0267. And that's toll free. Now, if you want to talk to Dr. Pannozzo after the show around 12:30, you call at 561 381 5800. Don't be surprised if he answers the call, because he wants to talk to you intelligently to see what the problem is. He's a very nice guy.
Oh, listen, people call from Atlanta while I was in Dr. Pannozzo's office. Les will be creating A, B, and C packages.
Yep.
So that you can come down and see the good doctor and play maybe some golf somewhere, or
Yeah.
the beach. Maybe we get Orlando or Disney World involved, maybe.
Yeah.
And put that whole package together.
No, speaking about golf, it's very funny, Freddie. Golfers today, to get their drive to go anywhere from 10 to 40 yards is unbelievable for them, because that drive is the most important shot, because that dictates the rest of your game. So you've devised, which I've seen more times than I care to see, how you've actually gotten that swing to where you could get the full range of motion. And I'm talking about older golfers too who suffer from this. In fact, I'm willing to bet everything that if Tiger Woods, who to me is one of the most beloved golfers, I think he's the greatest thing that golf has ever seen, would have come to him, do you think you would have been able to cure that? These people are changing a man's swing, which made him as good as he is.
Yes, we could have got him back. He 3 surgeries on his back
Yeah.
is absolutely never to be done, especially when in an athlete, because it causes scar tissue. No matter what they say, they say, "Well, it's only a little Band-Aid." Baloney! You have to, if you're going to do anything, you're going to go in there causing scar tissue. What hurts when you swing? Scar tissue. Why? Inability to stretch. In other words, a scar will not stretch when you want it to. So when you're doing a swing like that, everything stretches except the scar tissue.
Right.
It's either from an injury or from surgery. You have to soften that up so that it now stretches, and that's what we do. So we studied the golf swing with Bob Tosky, probably the greatest teacher there.
Oh God, yes. He still plays, doesn't
We
he?
use every day. We use the principles of anatomy and physiology, and pain treatment the way we do it to diagnose where that problem is, so that we could have you swing, have you create a pain, we fix it. Have you tried to create a pain, you cannot. That means that your next day you go play golf and you're going to do extremely well.
So if anybody who's in the New York area, the Atlantic area, Washington, that wants to come down to beautiful sunny Florida, we'll put together a package for you, give you your choice of hotels in the area that's only maybe 5, 6, 10 minutes away from Dr. Pannozzo. Come in on a Friday, play golf Friday afternoon, and watch the way you're swinging. Now, if you don't get 40 yards, maybe not that good of a golfer,
Well,
but he'll be able to give you...
Friday we'd examine and
Right.
treat them. Saturday they play golf.
Right.
We'd see them again, anything else that we missed. And Sunday they play golf again, and that's it. They're cured for the weekend.
Now, if you don't
have a
believe
problem.
this, go to Pannozzo.tv and look up golf, and they will be able to see a golfer who came in.
We don't have that on Pannozzo.tv, do we?
Uh,
No, because those are shows
no,
like this one. So
yeah,
you have to
we
go
don't,
to.
we don't have the golfers.
Would that be Pannozzo
you have to go to
nationwide?
the
We have that on?
website. You have to go to the website.
That's Pannozzo nationwide.
Pain centers.
Pain
Pain
centers
centers.
nationwide.
You better write that
Yeah,
down.
yes, boss. So it's called.
Alzheimer's is kicking.
It's pain. It's
centers
pain centers Go ahead.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.com.
.com.
Actually, they could go to Pannozzo.com and get it.
Or Pannozzo.com and get it.
Or just put my name in
Yeah,
Google, and
Google
all
it.
of it shows up.
You haven't been Googling in a while, have you, Doc?
I haven't been Googled.
I get a bell, right? Colleen, that was a good one, right? Colleen says nobody's calling. Know why? Because it's a digital area. No one ever wants to call. They just want to write this. So let me get a couple more questions in before we have to leave. Mike from Boca Raton writes, I'm a veteran with 4 tours in Afghanistan. God bless you, my man. And I was sent home with a medal in my body of a rocket we took while working there. I have been treated at the VA for my injuries and the pain throughout my body. I have never talked bad about the military or my country, but the painkillers they gave me to overcome this pain I'm going through right now makes me, it's very sad to hear that, keeping it difficult to be on my job and just be a person even harder. My question is, the medal covers a large area of my right side torso and leg, and I have trouble walking as well. Can this be treated? Would I have to abandon the pain? Can you help me? This is really sad to me because these guys, God bless them, what they do for us.
These are special situations that
Wow.
just a VA is not going to be able to do it.
I know.
I mean, they're trained like everybody else. I'm telling you, what we do is different. So I'd be glad to see this guy. No cost to him, and we'll put him on the right road.
See that side? This is the kind of man we're talking about. No cost, just to help you out, because what they've done for this country. God bless them, and
See, the thing about it is, if they go to the VA, they get prescriptions, narcotics, and then they get a check every month for disability, and that's the draw right there.
But once you take care of that pain, that disability check doesn't have to go towards these medical costs, correct?
Well, they can still get them. I couldn't care less.
I can see.
I'm going to do my job no matter what.
Right.
That's right.
I can see Colleen is holding up the cards, so I just want to give out the number to call Dr. Pannozzo direct. It's 561-381-5800. If you want to see his shows,
One more question there.
I'd like to, Doc, but they're all gone for this week.
I thought
I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the old ones, Doc. That's me a little nervous, Doc. Or if you want to go to see him, it's.
You can pull one from the.
All right, one more question. Okay.
Don't tell me there's no questions.
Let
You
me
got
give-
hundreds of questions.
Let me
there.
give an
Are you
oldie but a
kidding me?
goodie.
What's that one on the bottom of the
I'm
page?
sorry.
There you go.
I'm telling you, this guy's getting a little, I'm telling you. And I bought breakfast. Next week, you're paying. Joseph from Delray Beach writes, I am a member of the Sheriff's Department. As you know, we aren't allowed to take anything that would consider drugs to the body. There are many situations where our job takes a toll on the body, and I would like to see you to help me with this, but I need to know more about what you inject into my body.
Well, what's the problem?
We don't know that yet.
Well, he probably doesn't. Can he pass the drug screen? Let's put it.
Basically, he
Oh,
wants to know
yeah,
what you're
no.
giving in his body. Could he pass a drug screen?
Yes.
Yes, guaranteed.
He wouldn't have any problem with anything entering.
In fact, it's the only drug that the NFL approves because it doesn't improve enhancement. Okay, so let me give out some numbers because that's it, Doc. Can't bring him a questions. Got to give out the important numbers. Call the Doc at 561-381-5800. And don't forget, February 16th, South County Civic Center at 16700 Jog Road, Delray Beach. You can go to the website for all the information you want. And what's that website that go to, Freddy?
Pannozzo.tv.
Okay, spell that name.
Pannozzo.
.tv, or you can call me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you, 954-303-9563. Remember, you have to start the world tour somewhere.
Your number?
That's my personal cell phone where I will take the call. You want me, unless you want to take it.
No.
Freddie, you want to take it?
No.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that I'm not just a pretty face. I'm very important to this company. But more important is Dr. Pannozzo. Dr. Pannozzo, as always,
Now hold on, because she just left the
she
booth.
just left the room, okay?
Now we got 2 minutes. Dr.
Elvis is
Pannozzo,
still here?
Dr. Pannozzo is going to have an app pretty soon in the future.
Oh, great.
He's going to be able to, for smart TVs, he's going to have an app as well. So if you have a smart TV, you can hit that button and voila, you're there.
He's there.
And the one for the phones, both Apple and Android, you hit that and it takes them to the site as well. We're working on that. Reality show, maybe from his, we'll make a contest or something, be part
That's
of the
going to
reality
be a
show.
biggie.
We'll
reality show.
even get Colleen to be on that reality show.
Why not? We get everybody on that thing.
Okay, Colleen just put up the button again saying I have 1 minute, Doc. As always, thank you very much for your knowledge.
Wow.
for getting up in the morning to do this. I know we both love it, but you know what, folks? We do this for you. We really do. God bless our veterans. I hope those who are in pain, you come see Dr. Pannozzo so he can help you. Gio, always a pleasure having you down here in South Florida helping us. And Freddy Santori, again, thank you so much. And your company, am2.tv, for helping us get this information out to the people. Again, Doc, 561
Thank you, guys.
381 5800. That's 561 381 5800. And we'll be more than happy to answer all your calls. Right, Doc?
She has all these cards. 1 minute, 30.
Man, thank God for Colleen, let me tell you, because we could be talking and the show's over.
Say goodbye, Doc.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doc.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.